corporate sector authority is slowly becoming one of my more favoured factions to play in Empire at War: Thrawn's Revenge. Many factions in the game focus on fleet structure that prides themselves on maximum damage output and defensive capabilities. Each ship has a specific, targeted job to perform, and if you're more of an expert player, building these fleets to counter particular players and playstyles is relatively straightforward. However, the way I play the CSA faction doesn't always follow that same path. With the cheapest Z9 fighters on offer with insanely fast build times, it makes me focus more on upgrading existing fighters, bombers and ships rather than building newer, bigger ones. The fighter upgrades are prevalent in Thrawn's Revenge and is not seen in Fall of the Republic. I think this is a feature that is ignored by a lot of players, especially in skirmish mode, but with the CSA, this is my secret ingredient, if you will, for success. Before I get more into the video, guys, did you know there's almost 50% of you that watch these videos and are not subscribed? If you love hearing more about Star Wars, Empire at War, or even new game releases like our Doom Eternal gameplay, we might even look into Animal Crossing at some point too, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. The Gladiator Star Destroyer, on the other hand, definitely steals the show. It is far more robust than its Empire at War remake counterpart, as well as having incredible firepower and carrier capabilities. It is incredibly cheap to make and has reasonable build times, meaning that this spacecraft can serve many different types of roles. It is incredibly easy to build a fleet of these in the early game, making them insanely hard to push through for the enemy with any faction. As we start entering more into the mid to late game, the CSA does dissolve back to your standard faction, in which fleet composition and positioning is paramount. This isn't necessarily bad per se. The CSA has some bigger Star Destroyers that definitely pack a punch, and if you're successfully being able to upgrade your fighters and bombers while suppressing your enemy in the early game, you will definitely have the upper hand, even if you don't have majority map control or even have a smaller fleet. Again, this is how I play the CSA. Perhaps you might play them different. I'd love to know. But with that being said, let's dive more into detail and show you some examples. Okay, so I'm going to do a little something different here. Usually I just go against one hard AI, but I'm actually going to go against two, but not on the same team. So we're going to go against the Empire and the Great Malrude while we are the CSA. So let's go ahead. Okay, so I'm not very familiar with this map, but oh god, there's not a lot of asteroids on this map actually, so it'd be interesting to see how much we'll fight for these this income. I don't actually know where the enemy space stations are either, so I know there's going to be one there, but I don't know if there's going to be one in the corners somewhere. It'll really depend. So oh, we've already got one hard AI coming in, having a little peek. Okay, so we might actually capture two of them. That'll be really good if we can. Be very fortunate if that can happen. Let's capture these satellites just in case, because I feel like they are going to come bite us in the ass eventually. Oh, damn. Okay, that's alright. What we'll do is we'll build another one. Oh, I didn't even notice that there's a... Okay, you can just stop, and we cannot go that way. Let's go there. Let's go there. That's going to be incredibly hard to capture then. That's frustrating. Let's drag this gladiator here. Perfect. Okay. What have we got there? We've got the satellites. Let's build the bomber. Okay, so we've got one in the center here and one here. So we're not going to be able to get that asteroid. They're going to fight for that one. We should probably start fighting for the bot side instead. So we've got our first carrier, and as you can see, we have the boost weapon power on the Gladiator, which can just rip through carriers, even though they're the same price. So yeah, quite insane. A lot of bombers are built from the Gladiator 2, meaning that we can just capture asteroids with just the bombers and not really need the Gladiator to follow up with it. So one thing I also do is when I get the credits, I'll start upgrading the fighters. But because I've built so many satellites to just counter any pushes from any hard AI, because they mate if they work together, etc., I'll be able to hold them off. So I've got no income right at this current moment, but that's okay. That will change. Okay, so we can see our other space station. So let's just not go that way. I don't think it's going to be actually possible to capture this at all. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so we can see both space stations here. Very little play area for free factions in this map. I accidentally had our first Gladiator be way too in range. So I'm just going to go and try and capture this asteroid down at the bot here. And then just start building our Gladiator fleet. Usually we're able to build this a lot faster, but because it's two hard AIs, it's a little slower. Just because there's a lot more to fight back against. Okay, just so you can see how effective the Gladiator is to just take out asteroids. It's not as fast as an Artisans, etc. But because we spawn 2 bombers from the Gladiator as well, it's a lot easier to just quickly just wipe out enemy asteroids from a relative distance. Once we take that out, we can focus on the Artisans. Artisans are very strong in Thrawn's Revenge, I believe. But as you can see here, it does not stand a chance. And they are relatively the same price. But Artisans don't spawn any bombers or fighters. So, it's definitely holding its own. The Gladiator is. Okay, so now we've got some income coming through. These are what I'm talking about. Improved weapons and improved enhanced reactors, so movement speed and attack. Defense doesn't work with fighters, it's just corvettes and then frigates as you upgrade. But usually I like to focus on these two and just build gladiators. Once I get to level 2 on the fighters, I start spawning in a lot of Z95 squadrons. And it can be very hard to hold against. So while that's building, as you can see, the Empire's just dropped in a carrier. It's kind of a similar price. It builds more fighters and bombers than a Gladiator, but as you can see, it just doesn't stand a chance against 2 Gladiators. And we're just going to start building in more and more and more. Just because they're so cheap and it can just hold off any faction. Because we've got our satellites here, we don't have to worry too much about protecting those asteroids unless they start bringing fleets over there. Which I doubt they can at this point in time because there's just too much fighting going on for any sneak attacks. So I'm going to absolutely secure this asteroid. See, now we've got 4 gladiators. They're very quick and cheap to build, so I can just build another and then another. Actually, I might cancel that one just so I can push for the improved weapons level 2. Okay, so since they've got an Artisans here to try and counter, I'm just going to drop in 1 Gladiator here just to protect this asteroid. And as you... he's definitely going to start boosting his engines to run. I think once the shields are down. Yeah, off he goes. I don't want him to chase, so... just want you to defend that. Okay. So now we've got this asteroid down here. We have improved weapons 2 done already. Wow, that was quick. Let's just bolster up our defenses at our space station. And while we're at it, we can just afford a reinforced armor. I don't really necessarily go for improved defenses because that's more of like a losing strat. Like, you're only going to build that if you feel like you're going to be pushed to your star, to your space station. Unless it's that small of a map that, you know, your space station can be effectively used. But yeah, I tend to like avoid building on that. It's just not really worth the money. But now that we've run on level 2, I'm actually going to just start building some Z95 fighters and push for our improved weapons level 3. Now obviously you only really need to do this for like level 1 or 2 because obviously it starts improving on corvettes, capital ships, etc. So just Z95 fighters, even though they're cheap, really quick to build, it's so easy to overwhelm the enemy now that you've, you know, the damage is increased and like you're effectively getting a much more cost-effective ship. And obviously now that we've got 3 gladiators, you can just see how many bombers we have. It's insane. so we can really just push to the enemy space station once we handle this little push. Yeah, I knew they were going to start teaming up against me, I think. But that's okay. We've got a lot of fighters here to counter. We've got our Gladiator here holding off with our satellites too. So this is why I built the satellites. I felt like they were really important. Okay, good. Oh, wait. What are they doing there? Not building that, pal. And boost the weapon. There we go. One thing I noticed about this move, I don't know if it's for every ship, but with the Gladiator, I noticed that like I can just stop it halfway and then it just starts going back down. So I'm not sure why that happens, but maybe an explanation another day. Now we've absolutely secured this asteroid, I'm just going to bring our Gladiators back up here to aid the fight. We've already got like a provenance here, so they are definitely teching up. Don't know how they're getting that income per se, but let's build our third upgrade. Just build way more Gladiators, and then probably just start looking at a tech level 2. Ooh, hypervelocity. Where is that on? Well, it might not be on my ship actually.
Star Destroyer reporting in. Reinforcements cancelled.
Oops, didn't mean to cancel that. Let's just build some more Z95 fighters. Boost power on that. See, it's really hard to keep up with just how many Gladiators you build in such a short amount of time. It's amazing. It's just obviously you're going to have an abundance of bombers, so that's why I like to spam the Z95 fighters, just to make sure that you do have some fighter v fighter balance. I mean, this is way more effective if they have capital ships. I don't know why. I mean, if you want to go for it, I mean, we could try. Let's give it a go. Why not? They're so cheap to make, it's not like we're losing out on much. There we go. That provenance is actually being taken down, which is great. Got to be careful of provenance. I think they have some pretty decent anti-fighter capabilities. So I want to steer my bombers away from that. Ooh, let's just quickly take out that cruiser here. Look at that, melting away. Obviously, there is 5 Gladiators there, but it's just like so cheap and easy to do, really. Okay, so let's drop more fighters down. Let's tech upgrade, do that upgrade, and a Gladiator. Okay, so we've held off their attack pretty well. We've got a ooh. Oh no, give me some vision on that. I want to see that. Right, let's take out this precursor. I hope I pronounced that right. So we've got about 3 Gladiators in range, one that has only 1 hard point left, so I wouldn't even count that. Wow, you can see just 2 of these taking on the precursor. And you have some bombers too, of course. Now we've got 4 in line. This is useless. I should probably let that destroy it. Damn, man, wow. Melting it. And we've almost taken out this station with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With quite a few bombers, so... And effectively, this is only like 6,000, 7,000 worth of credits, bar obviously the upgrades that we've had. Which is really impressive. Really, really impressive. Okay, so what we've got here, we've got the Recusant and the Dreadnought. I really like the Gazantes, so I'm actually going to build one of everything. Just so we can see all of them shine. That precursor just gone. Just absolutely decimated. Let's get... let's try and take both of these guys out at the same time. Why not? Go straight in on these satellites. Gazantes are really good. Gazantes were very, very strong in Fallen Republic. I don't know their power in Thrawn's Revenge. It could be worse, could be the same. I'm not sure. We'll see, but... Let's just quickly take out that thing as well. Woo! Look at that, wow, melted. Let's put in some Xantes. Xantes have got some great anti-fighter capabilities here. Let's push for that. Let's also get some more gladiators in. I just don't feel like I need to upgrade for like victories and such. I think we've got enough firepower here. But I will put a dreadnought here. Okay, he did take out that useless gladiator. That was super low. Let's focus on this. Woof, wow. Dreadnought cruiser doing some serious damage. We've got the space station fighting as well, so don't let the damage fool you, because obviously the space station is helping out a fair bit. Ooh, that's interesting. I like that. Crimson Victory 2. Nice. Let's try and get our gladiators on that. How's our... Wow, we've just beaten that faction. Incredible. So, now we just got to take out these guys. Precursor down. We've got the Crimson left. Let's have everyone focusing on that. Boost the firepower as well. Shields are already down. Engine's gone. Incredible damage. Yeah, these guys are insane. I just love them. And you can just spam them like that. Boom. And they're so quick to build. It's great. Okay, let's get everyone in on the final space station. We've got 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 victories. We got 13. But yeah, so that's how I like playing the CSA, guys. I don't really push for the tech upgrades. Not unless if we saw a lot more Crimson and a lot more like victories or an Imperial, then I would be inclined to start using some tech level 2 and 3 ships. Because I honestly I don't know if like a fleet of gladiators could really take that on and survive. I don't think it'd be very cost effective, but you know. Let's boost the firepower here. Incredible. It's just great when you upgrade, when you get all these upgrades, because obviously when you upgrade to tech level 2, the damage upgrade 2 here, the improved weapons, I believe that applies to the gladiators as well. When you get to level 2, because obviously that's fighters and corvettes. I don't know. I'm only assuming, but if it does, then this is why like gladiators are just incredible for their price. They do a lot of damage. They build those bombers, and you've got the Z95s just spamming out at 100 credits at a time when you've got the fighter upgrade at level 1 anyway, so it syncs up in timeline really well. So you know, like this faction's incredibly strong. The early game is just you just play differently, and I love it, you know. So yeah, I will guys, I'll leave it at that. If you like the video, please definitely give it a like. If you loved it even more, give us a subscribe. It really goes a long way. I've been Charlie of X2, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.